Day 7 in everlasting summer spent. The night spent with Slavia in the forest. Let's continue. No, I never liked the local food. Me neither, to tell you the truth. Slavia laughed. But there is no choice. And it is quite good on an empty stomach. That's right. Unlike me, she was eating carefully. And I was dropping porridge on my shirt and spilling tea all over myself as usual. How is it even possible? Do you always eat like this? Anything wrong with that? I asked with a full mouth. She just laughed. Oh, no, not always. But it happens when I'm really hungry. Of course I can be more civilized. Well, I can try at least. No worries, it's nothing. It's something, actually. Soon we finished breakfast and went to the exit. No sooner had I noticed that we were still the only people in the canteen than Olga Dmitrievna appeared on the threshold. Ah, it's you! Well, I won't ask where you spend the night. So is it? The camp leader was obviously embarrassed. Good morning to you too, Olga Dmitrievna. Steva said with a bright smile. Yeah, morning. Okay, just don't forget to pack your things. We won't. Eh? What does she mean? Some hike again? I asked Slavia when we left the canteen. No! Today is the last day. Have you forgotten? What? Last day of what? Last day of the term. To say that her words struck me dumb was an understatement. How? Who are I? Why so surprised? Didn't you know? It was announced during the lineup. But even at those lineups which I attended, I was just sleeping on my feet. No. Now you know. Slava smiled naturally. And what should I do? Her words stirred of a mass of emotions inside of me. On one hand, I'll get out of this cursed camp at last. I might get some answers. On the other hand, I have just found something very important to me, and now I have to let it go. What do you mean? Oh, nothing. And when is the departure? In the evening, at 5 or 6 o'clock. Well, still out of time. Yeah, but I have some things to do. And I should find Xenia. She might be worried since I was absent for the whole night. Oh well, worrying is so much like her. See you at lunch. Slava gave me a kiss on the cheek and ran away. I kept standing at canteen's entrance. I had absolutely nothing to do, nothing to pack, so the only thing to do was to wander around the camp till evening and think. I would give anything to be able to empty my head for these 10 hours. A voice pulled me out of my trance. Hello! Electronic stood before me, as merry as usual. You too? I replied, absent-minded. You know, the whole camp is talking about you. I guess I know why. So you did it already? He asked, giggling. Do you really think that concerns you? Well, no, I just... Then keep quiet. Leaving him alone with his speculations, I walked to the square. Why does he behave in a way that drives everyone mad? Although it's probably just me, he maddens. I was completely immersed in my thoughts, not looking around, and didn't notice Miku until she bumped into me. Oh, sorry, I should be more careful. I was lost in thought and didn't notice you. You know how it happens. Oh, and hi. I looked through her and kept walking. Oh, Semyon, wait a second. What's up with Slavia? Tell me, it's so interesting. It seems that everyone in the whole camp except me knows about it. No, not that I'm curious, but since everything is all so serious. Saying that she's not curious is like denying a universal truth. Nothing special. I answered without turning back. Well, if you don't want to. I tried to isolate myself from the outside irritations, so Miku's other words passed by. The square scenery was soon replaced by the beach. Luckily, the juvenile game of the Soviet pop scene wasn't around. I took a place on the sand and started gazing at the river. Why on earth is the whole camp so interested in my relationship with Slavia? In my world, nobody would have said a word. At least, not out loud. At least you don't hear the things they say behind your back. For now, I was ready to endure gossip, just as long as I don't have to report to everyone about my private life. The sun was rising higher and higher, and I was nodding off. My eyes were already closed when I suddenly heard someone sitting down next to me. It was Alyssa. Congratulations! Meaning? Don't you know? Yeah, it doesn't take an Einstein to work it out. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of this. Everyone here just has to mention it. Enough! And what did you expect? It is out of the ordinary for the camp. I would even say it's exceptional. She laughed. And to show up the camp leader just like that, even Uliana couldn't manage it. Me neither, probably. I didn't know how to respond to that, or whether it was a compliment or mockery. You know, you're making too big a deal out of it. There was nothing unusual for me. Moreover, I don't understand why you have to poke your nose into my life. Don't you think it's my personal business and nobody else's? Maybe so, maybe so. Alyssa said mysteriously. We sat silently for a while. I wanted her to leave as soon as possible, but Alyssa was watching the pioneers on the beach, and it didn't seem that she was planning to go anywhere. So what are you going to do next? What are you talking about? Today is the last day. Yeah, so what? Everyone will leave. So? And Slavia will leave too. And he will leave too, so? You will break up. I know that already, thank you. Obviously. And what do you think about that? What should I think? I can't stay here forever. Of course you can. But what? Will you let her go just like that? No. I mean, what can I do? Frankly speaking, I really had no idea what to do next. My head was a complete mess. I'll be able to get out of here. That was the most important thing for me during last week. And now I have to answer a much more difficult question. How did summer romances end for common Soviet teenagers? And my romance was a summer one for sure. They just went home and that was it. They could live thousands of kilometers away from each other. In my case, in different worlds. It's not like one can come up with a decent solution for such a problem in a couple of hours. Like I know, it's up to you to decide. Alyssa grinned, stood up and ran to the river. There was only about half an hour till lunch, so I slowly walked to the canteen. My pioneers hadn't managed to occupy all the 3 tables, so I was able to choose quite a good place, but to my regret, not my favorite one, in the corner. I was just about to start eating when somebody abruptly pulled out a chair at the table near me and took a seat. Hi there, how are you? It was Uliana, an extraordinarily polite version of her. I was fine until now. I sneered. Oh, come on, better than me, what are you going to do? Eat. I sighed. I'm not talking about that. The session's over, you and Slava are gone apart. What's next? It's like my future is the priority issue for all the local residents. Hey, what really is the matter? Just curious. Curious about what? I don't ask you what are you going to do tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, or in a month. Why do you have to get into someone else's life? I'm not getting into anything, Uliana said, offended. I'm not really good at all that stuff. True enough, you're still a kid. So you've got to explain since you're the adult here. What should I explain? So we're going to stay in touch through letters, right? And then you're going to go to this camp next summer together. Talking. Through letters. It sounds so wild to me. And I don't mean the idea of paper sheets and envelopes. I mean the possibility of losing Slavia for a year, or probably even longer. Or forever. So what? May I join you? I raised my eyes and saw Slavia standing near me with a food tray. Oh, it's time to go! Uliana jumped and dashed off to a far corner of the canteen. What were you talking about? You know her. What could we possibly be talking about? Slavia smiled. Took care of your business? Yeah, now I'm completely free. I can help you pack your stuff. It's not like I've got much to pack. Well, then you can help me with my stuff. Sure. That was the perfect opportunity for a quiet talk with her. Although I had not the slightest idea of what I should talk about. Soon enough, we finished our meal and headed to Slavia's cabin. Everything in it was clean and neat, unlike in Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. True. Oh, I'm not sure what I should start with. She took out her traveling bag and started to rummage through a cabinet. Meanwhile, I sat on the bed and started to gather my thoughts. Do you have any plans for after the camp? What are you going to do? Well, you know. She raised her eyes to mine and gave me a smile. I'll go back to school. Yeah. And you? What about me? It's not like I'm really considering going to high school for a second time. Me? Well, me too, I guess. Although, I don't really feel like going back to my city. Seriously speaking, even if I felt like going back, I had nowhere to go anyway. Why? Just because. Because there is nothing to do there. Nothing at all. And there is no one waiting for me there. And but your parents? My parents? Well, you know, they are not there now. But where are they then? They are sort of working abroad. Ah, so you're the one lucky guy. She smiled merrily. Why? They sent you foreign stuff and all. I wouldn't call my situation lucky as such. Well, anyway. Don't be upset. She really looks like she doesn't understand what I'm saying. I'm not upset about it. And it was true. But what's up? Many things. For example. I was about to begin a vast outburst about my situation and my wish not to have to part with Sarah, but the door was flung open beneath a bang and Xenia entered. Oh, there you are. Yeah, we're packing. I see. It's a good thing I didn't come 10 minutes later, or I would have disrupted your packing. Slava blushed and kept on stuffing her things inside the bag anxiously. What's up, heroic lover boy? That form of address gave me the creeps. What? Nothing. She stared at me intently for some time. Watch it. Now more than just yourself depends on your choices. I didn't reply, and with those words Xenia left the cabin. What did she mean? I think you can never know for sure. And yet? Well, I wanted to talk to you about it myself. I was able to start, but then... About what? Sava looked at me carefully. It's just... Today we're leaving, right? Right. And we'll move back to our cities. Well, yeah. And when will I see you again? Sava grew thoughtful. I don't know. And I don't know either. But you could write me letters. She smiled, but her smile didn't bring me peace of mind. Yeah, of course, but you know, that's not the same. What is it then? Can I go with you? I decided to take a chance and speak plainly. And what will you do there? Slava seemed to not be surprised, but a bit vexed. Studying? My parents? And what will people say? I wasn't thinking about the opinions of other people. And to be honest, they didn't worry me much. Well, we can always find a way. What way? We'll think of something. Semyon, we are too young for this. In fact, I'm not. So what? Maybe after some time. How much time do you need? A year? 2 years? 5? You say it as if... I don't know. She seemed confused. So everything that happened here was just a holiday romance. I started getting angry. No, of course not, just... What? I'm not ready to discuss this right now, let's talk about it later. When later? We have only a couple of hours left till departure. Slava said nothing and continued to pack her things. I'd expected almost any kind of reaction from her, but not this. In fact, she just pushed me away. It turns out she doesn't need to continue our relationship. So I'm not that important to her. You think it's only complicated for you? It seems to me that it's hard for you too, but for some reason you don't think so. And what if I told you that I don't have a place to go back to? That since last Monday there is no more life for me and I have to start from scratch? I don't know. That doesn't sound very reasonable. And it shouldn't, but it's true. And then what? Please explain. I came to this camp by accident. Actually, I'm from another time, perhaps from another world. From the beginning of the 21st century. And I'm older than I seem. I don't really know how I got there, here. Steph said me, but said nothing. The moments dragged on endlessly. I wanted for her to laugh at me, to call me sick or something even worse. And why are you telling me all this? She finally asked quietly. I want you to understand my situation. But it just sounds stupid. Of course, if I were you, I would react the same way. And what do you expect from me? I don't know. I just felt that I needed to confess. I'm not saying that you're lying and I don't think you're crazy, but you have to understand, I can't just accept it. Yeah, I understand. I just thought that it would help you to understand my situation and my motivation over my actions. It didn't, to be honest. I sighed in frustration. And my opinion hasn't changed. But you'd better be off. You need to pack your stuff, or you'll be late. Let's talk later. I wasn't going to argue. If Slava hasn't changed her mind after my confession, then it's pointless to press on right now. Oh, damn it. Distressed, I shuffled off to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. The camp leader stood at the doorstep and looked like she was waiting for me. Why are you so gloomy? Did something happen? No, nothing. Just came to pack my things. Oh, come on, let it out. You might feel better. Well, how do you think I can prove that I'm telling the truth to somebody who doesn't believe me? Are you absolutely sure that you're telling the truth? Absolutely. Then perhaps they might just need time to consider. Except there's no time left. And I don't know. She shrugged her shoulders in dismay. Well, it's something at least. I tossed my winter clothing in the bag and headed to the bus stop. If a couple of days ago I'd seen the cars standing at the gate of the camp and waiting for pioneers, I would be the happiest person in this reality. But right now I wasn't in the mood to rejoice. There was still plenty of time left until the bus departure time. I sat down on the curb and buried my head in hands. Why so sad? A familiar voice pulled me out of thoughts. Just had a fight with Slavia? You could say that. And what's the reason? She doesn't believe that I'm an alien from the future. I smiled ironically. I wouldn't believe it either, said Lena seriously. If I were in your shoes, neither would I. It's not a big deal. You'll make up from a quarrel. Yeah, but there's not much time left to... Left to what? To make the right choice. After a while, the whole camp assembled together at the bus stop. Everyone's here? Began Olga Dmitrievna. You're leaving our camp today, and I'd like to tell you something in parting. She was visibly nervous and desperately lost for words. I hope that you will remember the time you spent here for a lifetime, and that you will retain only pleasant memories about Sovyonok. I also hope that you became at least a little bit better, managed to learn something about and found new friends. Just come back next year. The camp leader turned away. It seems she was trying to hold back her tears. I didn't expect her to get so emotional, although her speech sounded like a complete nonsense to me, as usual. Of course, this is where I met Slavia, but now we are going through a tough time, and what will happen next is absolutely unclear. So I didn't care about whether I'll miss this place and Olga Dmitrievna or not. Unlikely. When the pioneers started to get on the bus, I pushed through the crowd to Slavia. Let's sit together. Okay, she said quietly. I even thought that I saw the shadow of a smile on her face. The bus flew across the expanses of my new world. Outside fields, fold forests, and then calm rivers and highlands. I felt as familiar with all this as if it was my own homeland. Anyway, the surroundings were the least of my concerns now. I was trying too hard to find the right words to start conversation. We'd just been sitting there, probably for a couple of hours, but all attempts to strike up a conversation had ended with one-word answers. Forget about what I said before. I don't want to make excuses or say that it's not true. It's just now, the most important thing to me is you. I understand. She looked at me carefully. Even if I sometimes act the wrong way and talk nonsense. Regardless, the main thing for me now is to be with you, and it always will be. I understand that I acted too recklessly and planned stupid ventures, but we can try to make everything right. Together. You and me. Sarah was still gazing at me. Do you realize that it will be difficult? That you can't just run blind into the dark? Because then there will be so many problems that we won't be able to solve. Yeah, I understand that now. But for you, I am prepared for anything. She didn't say a word, but just kissed me gently and put her head on my shoulder. It definitely meant yes. I didn't want to bother her anymore, let her sleep. The point is that Slavia finally understood me, understood what she means to me. She realized that I'll do anything for her sake. And even if I'm overreacting or deciding too early, she's ready to put me on the right path. The path that we will walk together. Night started to claim its rights and the bus settled down to sleep. At first I tried to find it, but is there any use in enduring and wasting my efforts when the future has finally become crystal clear for me? My eyes shut just for a moment. Alright, let's end the episode here because it's been a while. This one is a little longer. I wonder what this will be. If the next one will be shorter, well, we'll start another road probably. We'll see. Alright, see you then. Bye.